So in the second video, I'm going to show you how to open and restore a backup and create a backup. So two things though that you need to know are the file extension names for your QuickBooks files. Now, the files that I sent you in student data files that you'll find in Blackboard are already in the full version of QuickBooks, which is the working file. And that has a QBW extension. Okay, that's the full version. The backup file, what that is a condensed version of the file. You can think of it almost like zipping a file or condensing it to save space. For example, if you wanted to share your copy of your QuickBooks file with with a friend or a coworker or whomever, if you tried to send them an email of the QBW, the full file, guess what? It's not going to go over email. But you can do a backup file. And backup files are smaller, like I said, more condensed, and can be very easily emailed. So to start off with, the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to create a backup. And in your book, they talk about at the end of every chapter to make a backup. You can think about your backup as a snapshot in time, meaning that, let's say that, today I finished chapter 2. If I go and I make a backup, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Create Backup. Okay, I'm going to go in and make a backup. As of today, at 1 o'clock, guess what? That's going to be a picture, a snapshot of my file. And that's what the backup does. In case you need to recreate your file, it's a really good idea to make weekly backups of your file or monthly backups in a place of business, because guess what? Stuff happens. Data gets lost, so it's really important to create backups. And in the real world, you want to save those backups off-site, meaning in a safe place so that the information is not damaged. So let's make the backup. Again, I just went up here, I went to File, Create Backup, and we're always going to do a local backup. There's an online backup option, but that has a fee, so we're doing the free one. So local backup, I'm going to click on Next. We want to save it now. Click Next. Ignore that. And then I'm going to just go out and just plop this out onto, again, my desktop, or if you had your flash drive, you could put your flash drive in, save it on there. And I do not change the name of my file. What's really nice is when it creates the backup is that it puts in the company name, says it's a backup, puts in the date and the time, which is awesome because one of the biggest mistakes students make is not finding the right backup to restore. And then guess what? You're missing information. So let's go ahead, leave that alone, click on Save. And I'm going to use this location. Now, if you're using your flash drive, etc., it's always going to give you this message that, hey, you do not want to save your backup in the same location as your regular company file. Now, for the purpose of class, this is fine. We're just going to click on Use this location. If it was the real world, guess what? You do not want to save those on the same spot. Meaning maybe you want to have a special flash drive, an external drive that you just save the backups on, and then your actual QuickBooks file would be saved on your computer. So again, for class, it's fine. In the real world, again, want to have that saved on a separate file. So I'm going to click on Use this location, and then we're just going to let it do its job. Sometimes if you get a message that it's not responding, did you see that pop up there? It's fine. Just let it go. It'll come back. QuickBooks is a large program, so it does take time. Once you get the message that it saved a backup copy, you're good to go. Okay? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually close. I'm going to close my company, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to completely exit out of QuickBooks, and then I'm going to show you how to restore a backup. Now, the biggest mistake that students make is they try to, for example, here's my backup file. Students try to go like this, and they double click on it. Guess what? You cannot restore a backup file that way. Now, if it's a QBW, meaning a working file, your full file, guess what? I can actually launch QuickBooks by just double clicking on the working file, and guess what? It'll open. Again, because that's the QBW file, not the backup file. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to restore the backup. So let's just let this start up. And no one ever said QuickBooks was fast. So here we go. And again, see that not responding? Just give it a minute, just give it a second, and it'll pop up again. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to actually close the company. Okay, I'm going to close the company because I want to show you how to now restore your file. So let's say you're in chapter 3 and something went haywire. Your reports look messed up. You need to go back and fix it. What you want to do is go back to a fresh start. You want to go back to your chapter 2 backup when everything looked great, and then maybe start over. So what you want to do is you want to go to Open or Restore. And this time, instead of a company file, we're going to restore a backup file, a QBB, which is what we've got right here. Click on Next. It's always going to be local. Then we're going to go ahead. It's going to ask you, where's the backup? So here it is. I'm going to click on Open, click on Next, and then it's going to ask you, where do you want to save it? So I'm going to put like Computer Chapter 3 or something like that. Click on Save, and there we go. Okay, so in truth, if all goes well with your QuickBooks, okay, you can make the backup files, that's fine. It's just a safety measure or a place to go back to if your reports and that go haywire. But in truth, you can just keep using the same company file all the way through. You're going to use that all the way through the entire book that we're going to use. So again, here's our message. It's been restored successfully. Click OK. And guess what? There's our QuickBooks. So thank you.